I'm Jesse Alexander, I'm a photography tutor and assessor, and we're here at assessment event in Barnsley.
I'm Sharon Boothroyd, also a photography tutor and assessor, and we're just going to talk about the work of Peter Mansell for landscape.
It's very different from what you might expect to see from a landscape project, and in fact you could really question whether it belongs within the genre of landscape at all. But actually I think it's a very interesting contemplation on mobility and actually how a wheelchair user might move through the landscape. There's 8 images here, but looking through the learning log you can really see that Peter's shot much more material and has very carefully whittled down these 8 images. And what you also get a sense of is quite how meticulously he's thought about framing each shot and how these images will work together. And it's a really interesting example of actually really stretching the set brief and thinking a little bit laterally. And yeah, it's just kind of a very sensitive and thought-provoking piece of work, really.
He uses a square crop for some of the pictures, which really makes the images feel really contained and almost a bit claustrophobic, which you maybe don't expect from landscape either.
His use of captions, the juxtaposition of image and text, is quite interesting. I don't think it works with each of the images, but the one particular image, and I detect some irony in which I like, which is the shot of a scuffed door architrave, presumably the effect of a wheelchair in a home, and he's titled this "Impact on the Landscape."
The other thing I wanted to say about this student is that in the style of someone else's assignment, he chose John Davies, who takes a lot of images of the city from a high vantage point, but obviously being restricted in a wheelchair, it was really difficult for him to do that, but he set himself that challenge and in fact tried to do it 3 different times and even contacted John Davies himself for some guidance about how he would advise him to do that.
I think those 2 bodies of work are really interesting juxtapositions, so you can see also the progression of the student going from the claustrophobic views to these much wider vistas is a really interesting contrast as well.